right, welcome to Hostile Therapy with Big Red. We got LT up here. Oh, he's about to come up here in a minute. I think his thing is loaded. Oh, I hear your voice. Okay. LT's. Oh,
Just like
how come I can't see your face? Oh, okay, there you are. Couldn't see you for a second. All right. We got Preezy up here back in from the podcast. Listen up, listen in. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Seem like I
hear me.
got an echo.
It's fine.
You can hear me?
I can hear you, Preezy.
Is there an echo?
Yeah, there's an echo.
Okay.
Anybody got extra electronic on in the background?
Is it me?
Hold on, I'll see. Okay. Yeah.
It's me that's echoing?
Yeah. When I put you on, it stops.
Okay. We fix that.
How about that? We good?
Nah, it's not you, LT. Like what? When I put it on mute, yeah, there's nothing there. For Preezy, there's no. When I put Preezy on mute, there's nothing there.
Damn it.
Okay. I don't hear nothing now.
Okay.
Right. Guess we're good. All right. We're good. Everybody's good up here. All right. So welcome to Hostile Therapy. On Thursday, we got a lot to talk about today, guys. A lot of court cases that we're going to talk about. This is like a court show today. LT gave me a couple stories that's going to court as of recently. We got the affirmative action court case that happened today. We got the case against Susan Louise. We got the story about coming out of Chicago, Carlisha Hood, the murder charges that were dropped from there. Let's see what else we got on the docket. Who else we got up here?
Like all shit rise or some shit. Like this.
Say what now?
As soon as we start the topics, everybody rise.
Oh, right. I would, but I'm attached to these headphones. Oh, we got Jonathan Majors. That's the one. That's the other one. So, yeah, we got a bunch of court cases this week. So we're going to talk about those and give our opinion on whether, depending on the case, we believe that person should be held guilty or should be innocent, depending on the evidence that's given from these particular cases. How have y'all guys been?
I can't.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Preezy. You just got back.
One day at a time.
What'd you say, Preezy?
I said, one day at a time. Same old.
Anything new happening on the horizon you want to tell us about?
No, really.
No?
Not really.
You don't want to promote yourself? Listen up, listen in, Preezy.
Hey, look at me. Wow, yeah, let me promote myself. That is crazy. Listen up, listen. Look at me. You like I'm yelling. Listen up. Thanks to you. Gotta give you a shout out, Big Red.
I helped out, but that's all you right there.
Oh, I don't
you
know.
running the show there.
I got a little something going on in the mornings. I do Podbean Live, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., waking your butts up, getting you out of bed.
Ooh, where you find that on?
Podbean,
all right.
Yes. Yeah.
Get your ass up and listen to Preezy, 6 in the morning.
It's Preezy in the morning.
Yeah, get up.
Yeah, LT do your voiceovers. He said, wake your ass up, listen to Preezy.
That's right.
That's literally what I do.
All right. I don't know about y'all, but my air conditioning is like not working up to full capacity right now. I got it on 71 and it's 76, and that's like super hot to me.
Oh, that's not good.
And I'm a father, my fatherly temperature usually supposed to stay on 72. I don't drop it below 72, so that's gotta be hot if I drop it below there. So that means I'm gonna get a $5 increase on my electric bill, and I can't have that. It's gonna break me.
Fans plugged up around the house, little little fans with batteries.
It's gonna look like it's gonna have to be that way. Only fans I got is those Glade plug-ins, and they don't push nothing but heat and good smells.
Just get hot at a certain point.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Smell
they add to electric bill too.
For it to smell.
Yeah, you don't want to keep running that AC.
I don't know. I think it's that hot out here. I don't want to complain because it rained out here for it felt like a whole week straight. And I was just glad to see some sunshine.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's see. Let me pull up the story that we're gonna speak on today. Susan Louise. The story is coming out of Florida. You know, the cesspool for seems like any black person. Where a mother was going to respond to her neighbor, who happens to be of the Caucasian nature. Susan Louise said something to her kids. I've heard derogatory things. I heard she was angry at them for how they were playing outside. She threw a skate at them allegedly, and went back home. And then the mother heard about this, came there to confront her without a weapon, from what I understand, knocked on her door, and Susan Louise got a gun and shot through the door from her kitchen, fatally wounding the mother of those kids. And now what they were trying to do was get a charge of murder, at least first or second degree murder. But they've ended up trying to give her the charge third degree, which is manslaughter, which is basically, I didn't mean to kill him, but I ended up killing him anyway. Accident, whatever you want to call it. But nothing that was meditated or done out of passion or out of hate. Basically, manslaughter is an accident. It wasn't meant to be killed, but that's what ended up happening. And people are outraged, saying she deserves a murder charge. And in case you haven't seen it, we're going to play a few clips talking about the story and the 911 call that happened the day that she ended up shooting the mother. Hold on, let me pop it up here right quick.
This Marion County woman who was shot and killed earlier this month is expected to speak out about the charges against the suspect. Yesterday, a state attorney said he could not charge Susan Louise with murder. That's despite the wishes of those close to the victim, Ajike Owens. Channel 9's Q McCrae's live for us in studio this morning. And Q Louise could still face up to 30 years in prison.
Yeah, correct, Kirsten. But as far as Owens' family and attorneys are concerned, Ajike Owens was murdered. They believe Louise deserves life behind bars, and they aren't alone. This used to be a field of play. Now it's a horrible reminder of death. 11-year-old London played with Ajike Owens' kids moments before she was killed.
When we seen her on the ground, we were just crying.
According to police, Owens' children were playing in the field when they told their mom that Susan Louise had thrown a skate at them, had taken one of their items, and shouted racial slurs. Owens went to Louise's front door. According to police, Louise shot through her door and killed her. Louise will be charged with manslaughter and assault. Reverend Al Sharpton slammed Florida officials for not filing murder charges against Louise. He released a statement that reads in part, quote, "The legal system failed A.J. Owens and her family today by refusing to recognize that this brazen shooting was plain murder. We urge the DOJ to intervene in this case so the appropriate level of justice is delivered for A.J. and her family," end quote. State Attorney William Gladson says he considered charging Louise with second-degree murder, but that the state could not prove without a reasonable doubt that Louise had evil intent towards Owens. Now, we also found out Owens' attorneys and family will be holding a news conference at some point today. We're still waiting to get that time determined and confirmed. Once we do, we'll let you know. Until then, that's the latest here in the studio. I'm Q McCrae, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, just for the emergency.
Oh my God, this lady just tried to break down my door. I shot through the door. Oh my God.
Okay, repeat that address for me to make sure I have it correct.
Crazy.
Okay, what is your name?
They were trying to come in my house.
Okay, what's going? Take a deep breath for me. Calm down.
Oh my God.
You said someone tried to break down your door. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, the woman was screaming and yelling and she was trying to break down my door.
Okay, was a female?
Yes. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed my gun and I shot at the door. And I thought she was going to kill me. Oh my God.
Okay, you said you shot at the door, is that correct?
Yes, I shot at the door because she wouldn't stop. I told her to get away and she wouldn't. She just begging to stay.
Okay, where's your gun now?
It's in my bedroom. I didn't know what to do. I was panicking. This is the woman who attacked me.
Okay, do you still see the subject?
I don't know where she is. I'm still in my house. I didn't open my door to her.
Is it just only you in the home?
Yes, it's just me.
Okay, I just need you to lock all your doors and windows, okay?
I have.
Okay, I'm going to stay on the line until the deputies get there.
Okay. My son's today were going to come and kill me.
And did you know her?
Yes, she's come after me several times because of her children. Her children keep trespassing over here. They're bothering me and bothering me. They won't stop.
Is she a neighbor?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So again,
Ask me.
She sounded like a 70s porno movie.
what?
Bitch, you're not.
Stop.
It's like a dog with its fucking tail caught in the door or something.
Great acting. Awesome.
Right. So Susan Louise, they say, is being prosecuted for manslaughter with a firearm for the death of Ajike Owens, according to State Attorney William Bill Gladson. So the burden for a second-degree murder charge requires prosecutors to prove beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt the existence of a depraved mind toward the victim at the time of the killing. Depraved mind requires evidence of hatred, spite, ill will, or evil intent toward the victim at the time of the killing. And they say, as deplorable as the defendant's actions were in this case, there is insufficient evidence to prove the specific and required element of second-degree murder. But with this manslaughter charge, she could face up to 30 years behind bars if convicted. See, and end quote with that. So that's pretty much the question here. Do you think she should be convicted of second-degree murder? Or do you think manslaughter is the right charge she should go for here? And Preezy, I'll let you go first. We'll start off with 2 minutes on the timer. You tell us, present your case, tell us what you think. Do you think she should get a second-degree charge or a manslaughter charge, which is a third-degree charge? All right, and put the timer up here.
Ready? Go!
Okay.
She should get the second-degree murder charge because she tried to use that stand your ground law. That didn't work. And that woman came to her door. That woman had no weapon. She wasn't a threat because she, the person that had the gun, was on the other side. So how was that woman a threat to her? And she tried to use that excuse, stand your ground law, but when they looked at the video, obviously she must have had the ring or somebody had the ring. AJ did nothing. She knocked on the door, requesting whatever she was requesting. I don't know if it was the iPad or it was something that belonged to her child. Who shoots through a door? She could have, and the thing is, her child was there. I heard that the child was, another child came with her on the porch. What if that child would have been shot? I don't know Florida's law, but this right here is wrong. She should be charged with murder. She killed that woman for what? If you scared, just like she did, she called the cops, but she called the cops after she shot her. If you feel threatened, you should have called the cops first and let the cops handle it, because see, that's their job. But she took it upon herself because she has a weapon to shoot through the door. Who shoots through the door? Who does that? What law allows you to shoot your gun through the door. She could have killed anybody. Bullets travel. It could have ricocheted and hit anybody that was innocent on the street. You should go to jail 50 years, 60 years. I don't care. She should be in jail for the rest of her life.
Okay, cool. All right, LT. What do you think? Do you think she should go to prison for the 2nd degree charge or 3rd degree manslaughter?
Not only should she go to jail for like the rest of her life, I stick a plunger in her ass or some shit, like all of that. Like,
All right.
Are you ready?
All right, go ahead.
Go!
oh man, I can't remember what movie that was from, but that's what I think of. Oh, Friday, next Friday, Friday after next, when it was like, what should we do when we catch the crooked Santa Claus? Because like bash his skulls, eye gouge. Day was like, I want you. How about y'all stick a plunger in his ass? That's what I want to happen to this lady. All of that to say this because, yeah, the door was closed, and I think there is a premeditated element to it because you're calling the police, much like Precy said, you're calling the police after you've murdered this person, after they're no longer a threat. Now you're getting your story together because I wasn't there. I can't analyze the situation. But what I do think is interesting is that we ignored the fact that this started with this lady yelling obscenities and hate slurs at children.
Right.
We care about what's happening to our children when it's in terms of what they're watching on TV, what music they're listening to. Are they gay yet? But this is a very clear, we don't give a fuck about black women and we don't give a fuck about black kids because this whole story revolves around a white lady accosting verbally verbally accosting some children over what? Like, you threw a skate at these kids? For the fuck what? You notice she doesn't mention that on her 911 call. She's acting hysterical, and I do want to put an emphasis on acting. This woman is she's doing what white women do best. She's playing victim. Because again, this woman is, if someone is banging on your door, why is your first option to not call the police? You were so scared that you said, let me run upstairs, let me go to wherever I have my gun in my house, come back, and then mindlessly shoot through the door. Much like you said, bullets ricochet. That could have hit anybody. But what if this woman went to go get a police officer to check you, and was a police officer at the door, and you just shot like that? You know what I'm saying? Like this woman deserves. He shot through the door. I hate to say it like that. On some real shit, I'm tired. I'm gonna always talk about rappers and hip hop when we get on here. All this violence we have towards each other, take it out on these people that is killing innocent black people. This woman just killed a mother of 4. Cardi B love pulling up on people. These little rap girls love talking about how they get into fights and shit like that. Run up on this white bitch, please and thank you.
All right. Let's see. Move this one still. Okay. Wrong thing. Put the wrong thing up here.
Ready? Go!
All right. So yeah, I think 2nd degree over manslaughter because I don't think it was an accident. Regardless of the stand your ground law or whatever, I don't think that was an accident. She knew what else could you be doing if you're shooting a shot? If you just shoot a shot randomly at a door when you know the person is knocking there, then you have the intent to purposely kill that person. What else could possibly happen? You think she's going to stand by the side after she rings the doorbell or after she knocks on the door, that she's going to go to the side and hopefully she don't get hit? Your intent was to kill. And like y'all said, she could have called 911 and that would have been it. Call 911, call the police to come out there if you thought your life was in danger. Now, if you open the door and she started to attack you, then you may have a point there. But I thought about, I'm trying to think what's her name, Marissa Alexander. The lady from Florida, let's see, I think hers was in 2015. She had a case where her husband was a domestic abuser and she shot a warning shot at him. And she ended up getting, I think, 20 years in prison. And they said because as he was walking away after they had a incident, she went and got the gun and shot a warning shot in the air. And they said because the danger had left by that point, that she couldn't use that as a defense as trying to get him away. So that was, I don't know if she got for manslaughter, but she still got charged regardless. But she shot in the air for that one. No way he could have got hit by any of those bullets. This woman shot intently at the door, and that's not an accident. That's what I think manslaughter is. I don't know the law completely, but when I hear manslaughter, it's something you didn't intend to do, but it's something bad ended up happening. There's nothing else she could have intended to happen. She let go besides getting her away. And you can't just shoot at a door where you can't see on the other side of on the other side. You can't just shoot at the door because somebody can easily get killed. And I think she wanted that to happen. I think she thought the law was going to end up protecting her. And in a way, it probably still did, because she's not going to get a second-degree murder charge. But no, I think manslaughter, no, that was on purpose. And it could very well be first degree. If it's not second degree, it very well could be first degree. Because she's had a run-in with her before, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just saying, if that was the tables were turned, if that was a black woman behind the door with the gun, and it was a white woman knocking on that door, what would that charge be? And it's sad.
People would never believe that the white woman was violent or aggressive.
She is not. People have got to understand, and that's the thing. What is a threat? What's not a threat? And that woman knocking on the door, it is a perfect example that I have real quick, Big Red. I don't know if you remember the incident. These two women must have had beef with another woman, and they came to her property, and they stood in front of her, right probably in front of her house, sitting on their cars, and they were telling her to come outside. Now, I don't know what happened with those three women. And maybe she was attacked by them before, or they had some beef, or it probably was about a man, I'm pretty sure. And maybe it wasn't, but most likely it probably was. And those two women came to her house, and they said, come on outside, you such and such, come on. She came outside with a gun. She killed both of them. Is she guilty? Absolutely. Because even if those girls beat her up, let's say they beat her up yesterday, were they a threat that day? No. They came on her property, but they told her to come outside. So she's the aggressor because she came outside with a gun and she killed both of them. Now, it's double murder. So just because this woman came on her porch and rang her doorbell, you shoot your gun through the door? What message is Florida law telling people? So it's okay. You have an argument with somebody and they talking to you. You have the right to shoot your bullet, to shoot the gun. The door. This is terrible. This is terrible. Terrible.
What have been just like some Jehovah's Witnesses that came to the door? You can't just shoot through the door because you don't want to
don't talk about my people. Don't you dare.
Okay.
Don't you do it.
What's the other ones that ride the bikes all the
time? They always protected. So don't you dare.
Okay, some other religion comes to the door asking to speak to you. You can't just shoot them because you don't want to talk to them, and they're not a threat. And this woman, you can't call that a threat. You can't call it a bodily threat.
Let's not use religion because God is going to protect his people. So
right.
Use the mailman. What if
the mailman? Okay.
What if it was the
Amazon?
What if it was UPS package being?
She would have had to be scared of the mailman and them UPS packages or some shit, apparently. And it's like, again, if you was that damn scared, call somebody. Like you wasn't. There was a thought. I am afraid. And your thought was, instead of calling the police, I'm going to handle this myself. So you weren't too afraid. No. You felt like you were capable enough to shoot through the fucking doors.
She didn't think. She reacted instead of thinking. She knew what she was doing.
Because manslaughter, that's what you give to fucking drunk drivers. They didn't mean to kill someone behind the wheel of a fucking vehicle.
Could have been one of those kids knocking on that door.
You should have known better.
Give me my iPad. Can you give me my iPad? Boom, boom.
Um,
This is horrible. 4
Yeah, it
beautiful
didn't even have to be there. It just could have been somebody behind her. That bullet
Right.
could have just gone somebody in the house behind her or in front of her. I don't know if there was any houses behind her, but
not a Jehovah's Witness.
yeah,
And
bullets
guess
gone.
what? That white lady would have did the same thing. She would have been on the news, like she would have been crying somewhere. I was just so
Those
scared.
tears
and
were
I
so
did.
fake. They were so fake. You could
That
tell.
was the
They were so they weren't even real. They were
because
pushed.
notice as she's crying and sobbing uncontrollably, she's also laying down her alibi. She's laying
Yes.
down the reason of which she did this. Oh my God, I'm so scared. I don't know what to do.
Then
She was
she
threatening me.
pauses
That's why I shot her.
and answers the question. It's like, oh my God. Well, she came on my. She just totally turned to a different person. This
Like
is a
she knew
mess.
how to give the right information to not incriminate herself. You're so damn startled and shit.
2 laws, 2 judicial systems, and we see it all the time. 2
And she
judicial.
knew that. She knew that when she hollered at them fucking kids.
This is terrible. 4 kids. These kids are traumatized.
Mhm.
Saw their mother get shot down. This is so bad.
Yeah,
But
like we
I'll tell
really
you
not
one
giving a fuck
thing.
about the kids in this
Tell you
situation.
one thing. She will be in protective custody in the jail system. You better believe that.
Yeah.
She will.
I'd love to see her
She
60
will
days
have
in.
to. She will have to. Trust me.
Yeah, so,
I would
yeah,
love to see that
that's a
60
very sad
days.
situation. But here's the other question, though,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because you have to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it was second degree murder. Do you think that can be proven?
It
Well, they
could if
proved
they
that
would
she
cross
died.
examine the children.
They proved and said that
Or
she
cross
can't use stand your ground law because of the video.
Mm-hmm.
I thought videos is proof. If you
Yeah,
could
it's proof.
determine that she couldn't use stand her ground law, then why you can't prove that she's a murderer?
because they don't want to.
Well, I don't know that they have to prove that. I guess she had intent to murder her. I guess, and it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know how you, like I said, I don't know how you call that an accident, because what else could you be doing? You firing through a door, so when somebody's at the front door, what else could you say? And again, I'm not a lawyer, but you know how they can twist and turn things and make them seem like something else. But what other intention can you have? That sounds like second degree murder. Your intent is hate for that other person. That's why you shot through the door.
And the other neighbors
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
the other neighbors said, and they were white, said that she was racist. What
Yeah.
other proof
Oh,
do you
yeah. They can use that too.
Did that lady tear down your door? She knocked on your door. What
Yeah,
is
we
the
could canvas the
difference between
neighborhood. We
tearing
could
down the
talk to
door
people.
and knocking on the door? So this is a mess, and they know it. This is it's terrible.
All I want to say is
Yeah.
that they don't really care about us. God.
I just don't understand how, again, the Marissa Alexander lady, grown woman, she got prison time for shooting in the air. That shouldn't be manslaughter. That shouldn't be murder, because no one can get harmed by that. Just shooting in the air. And it was a warning shot.
Right.
And it was because she got domestically abused for years, because she used to be with the guy. So if she did shoot at him, that could be a stand your ground type thing. But she didn't even shoot at him. She shot in the air, and she got 20 years for that.
What was the race of the guy?
Oh, he's black. It was her former partner.
This is so bad, I'll tell you.
Surprised they ain't throw both of them motherfuckers in jail.
Right.
Did she how much time did she actually do? Didn't they release her at a certain
They
time?
released her. Let me see if they show.
Shouldn't even serve no time. She shouldn't have served nothing. This is crazy. I'm telling you, the law is for it's pick and choose. You could go to jail, not you. But I did the same crime. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna send you to jail, but
Yeah,
I'll
you
send
did that crime in this state, or you know what?
It's
We
so
know
bad.
what it boils down.
Hey, you're lighter than him, so you're gonna do this. Hey, you're darker, you're gonna do this. This is what nationality you? I'm such and such. Oh, you ain't gotta do it. This is what it seemed like the judicial system is. It's
Like
it's
if roles were reversed on this, and if this was a black
no
woman
way.
shooting a
Oh,
white woman through the door,
guilty.
they would have
Probably
gone
wouldn't
so
even
deep into that black woman's past. They would have pulled up her
wouldn't
and
even had a
any
trial.
beef she
Guilty.
had from high school. They would have pulled up her fucking parking records and shit. They would have pulled up everything and exposed all the nooks and crannies
What
of
she
this
did in
woman's life to
kindergarten.
paint her as a hateful person.
See, Marissa Alexander, she got released January 27, 2017. 5 years later after being incarcerated.
Didn't even did that. Terrible. Oh,
Always cherish your freedom.
terrible.
You got to in Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Yeah, this is all Florida here. Marissa Alexander, Florida. And
because at what point do these other communities that love telling, like there are so many communities that tell black people that we don't stand by them. Where's the ADL right now? A black mother of 4. Like there are so many single white mothers on TikTok that literally would not have a following and they wouldn't be able to quit their jobs without their children, without the simple fact that they are a mother and only a mother. And I hate to say it like that, but they're literally white women who make a living off of not only being a mother, but being a mother of a black child. A black mother was murdered by a white woman. These communities need to come together and they need to do something about this. Florida is a large community where a lot of these moms fucking live. We shouldn't, this is a black and white thing, and obviously, as we know, when it gets to the judicial system, it's a very black and white thing. But for us as people on the outside, it needs to stop being black and white. This was a mother that was murdered by a hateful person. This person would have probably killed kids if they. You know what's funny? We stopped talking about that.
Why wasn't this a race crime?
Am I back? We stopped talking about that transgender shooter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Just saying.
Because the major networks aren't going to pick that up because it looks
communities like they're under attack.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
Why wasn't this considered a race crime? You had proof that she was
racist.
You're
right. I didn't hear about that yet.
Well, I don't understand. You had proof that she was racist. So I don't understand.
I'm sure that's going to be brought up in the case, but you're right. I haven't really heard anybody speak on it saying, was this a hate crime?
Neighbors said that she said.
I mean, it starts with those children. Those we're literally discounting the word of those kids immediately when it
terrible.
And I think later on we're going to hear that in the prosecution. But Al Sharpton is on the.
It's how everything is for the children and shit. These are children saying that this lady was mean and hateful to us. Let's start there. Let's ask these kids some shit.
They're harassing me.
Yeah, and from what I heard, it wasn't like they were like in front of her house or anything. She was just bothered by them for whatever reason, because of their kids, because they're black or whatever. But she was bothered by them. She felt the need to go yell and throw skates at them, at little kids, instead of going to talk to the mother in the first place. But you're going to throw the rock, hide your hand, go in the house, and then you go throw something else through the door.
Very white woman of her.
That's sad. And our next story is kind of almost in that same vein, and I'll explain once we get to it. Chicago with Carlisha Hood. Yeah, y'all heard about that story?
Carlisha Hood. I want to say I've seen.
No, you gotta tell us about.
Okay, well, and I'll show a video about it too. But Carlisha Hood was a mother that was at this restaurant. I think it was a hot dog stand, and this guy was arguing with her for whatever reason. I don't know, sure, because we don't know anything because there wasn't a video all the way before that. But he pretty much threatened her, if you don't get out of my face, I'm going to hit you. And he did. He punched her, I think, about 3 times. Her son saw the act and went and got a gun and killed the assailant. Killed him. Well, yeah, he killed him. And so she was charged for pretty much involving her, making her son kill the assailant. And the charges would end up being dropped because I guess they couldn't prove that she did this intently. And now she's suing the Chicago police for, I guess, I don't know, false imprisonment and stress and suffering that she went through this ordeal. So I'm going to play the video of it and let y'all look at it. We're going to give our opinion on, do you think she should be in trouble for, I guess, her son coming in using a gun that she owned and shooting the guy? Was he right? Because a lot of people are agreeing with that. Like they think that's what should have been done, that the son should have protected his mother and ended up killing him. The boy was 14 years old, by the way. So he was a minor. But let me play the video. Let me find a video right quick, and we get a look at what really happened that day.
Other news today, murder charges have been dropped against a Chicago mom and her son. She had been accused of ordering her son to kill a man after a dispute at a fast food place. But after more details of the incident came out, including video, prosecutors said they wouldn't be able to meet the burden of proof to get a conviction.
This mom is at the center of an uproar after cops say she ordered her own son to shoot this man who was beating her up.
Never in a million years would I have imagined being brutally attacked, beaten, and then arrested.
Carlisha Hood is speaking out about her and her 14-year-old son's arrests on first-degree murder charges. It started at this fast food stand in Chicago. Surveillance tape shows her arriving with her son. After ordering a cheeseburger, get your food! An argument ensued inside between Hood and another customer identified as 32-year-old Jeremy Brown.
If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
Out of nowhere, Brown viciously punches Hood at least 3 times. The full video is too violent to show. Her son walked into the restaurant, pulled out a gun, and opened fire, reportedly at his mother's behest. Brown was shot dead in the back. They turned themselves into police and both were charged with first-degree murder. In a stunning turn of events, prosecutors dropped all charges after obtaining the videotape of the beating. Based upon the facts, evidence, and the law, we are unable to meet our burden of proof in the prosecution of these cases.
My life changed. My son's life changed. I've experienced pain.
Social media is lighting up over the case, with many people expressing concern that the 14-year-old was dragged into the drama. I hate that her son had to witness that. I hate he had to make that decision, went one comment. Hood's lawyer is threatening to sue the city for false arrest.
If your mother or sister or daughter were attacked in a restaurant when she's trying to order a cheeseburger, would you expect that she would be arrested?
I just need a little time to heal and to just get my life back with my baby.
Damn.
Okay, so okay, let me get this up here. Okay. So the only question I have with this, or the only issue I may have with this, and they didn't mention it in the video as far as what I heard, is after the son shot the man, the mother ordered him to, as the guy was trying to escape, because he didn't die right then, he was trying to escape, get away. She ordered the son to follow him and maybe continue with the assault. I don't know if he shot him anymore after leaving the restaurant, but she wanted the son to follow him to continue shooting him. And I'm guessing that is, maybe why they were probably having charges brought against her, mostly the mother, because once the danger was away, so to speak, she continued or wanted the assault to continue. And that's the only issue I may see here. I think it's really sad, though. I mean, that the 14-year-old boy is going to have this, I know he's protecting his mother, but he's going to have this on his conscience for the rest of his life, that he killed a man at 14.
That boy got a body.
Yeah. And nationally, people are going to know that, but that's got to be psychologically damaging. This man, he's not even in high school yet, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he is. And he killed somebody.
Not getting bullied no more. They know they got that thing.
Definitely not.
Not any way. Well,
what do you guys think about this story, man? Do you agree that how this ended up ending? No, not even thinking about her ordering him to go chase him down after the initial shooting. Do you agree with how it ended up ending for the guy attacking her and then the son coming in and putting an end to it and killing the guy? Do you think that's what should have happened?
Yeah, because who the fuck? It seemed like nobody in this motherfucking chicken joint was gonna step in and
Right.
stop this grown ass, loud ass man from arguing with this
Yeah.
woman who also again a mother. Yeah, no, I mean people might have been asking him to calm down, but I don't know if there was any men there that could have stepped in and made sure that this man didn't assault this woman. But that didn't happen.
At
So
least.
guess what? A little boy had to do it. And again, like we love we love guns in this motherfucking country. We not gonna get rid of them. No matter how many times a school gets shot up, no matter how many times a movie theater or a grocery store gets shot the fuck up, we're not gonna get rid of guns. And the conservative standpoint for guns is always, well, wouldn't you rather a good guy have a gun and be able to stop some of these things from happening? With that thought in mind, these motherfuckers should never been arrested. This mother, this son should have never been arrested. If they didn't have the evidence to prove the burden of truth that she was assaulted and her son was protecting her, how did they have the evidence to prove that she ordered her son to commit an act of murder, like just unprovoked or after the situation was neutralized? So again, we're taking these leaps and bounds and jumping to conclusions when it fits what we want to happen. Again, we flip the races on this. If this was a white mother getting beat up by a black man or a white man, and her son came into the chicken spot, came into Chick-fil-A, and saw that his mom Deborah was getting them paws put on her by Garrett or some shit, her ex Garrett, I don't know, and he pulls that thing, we would call this little boy a hero. They would name a sandwich after him. He would like show up to the MTV Movie Awards. He would get a fucking Kids Choice Awards. He would get slimed at the Nickelodeon Choice Awards, all for murdering someone in the defense of his mother. Because we love guns and we love defending. We love to think we're defending the weaker and shit. And that's what this young man had to do. Him and his mother should have never been arrested. And it just again shows us that the law is only made to protect certain people. The law is only made to hurt certain people. Life is figuring about which side of that you're on.
Well, I just feel like they still had to arrest him. I mean, they still have to investigate to see what actually happened. They have to arrest him. They have to, they can't just go off of somebody's word. My thing
You have
is,
to be arrested.
yeah, I'm glad that they were able to prove that it wasn't like done out of a malicious intent, that she was being protected. I hate that it was her 14-year-old son. I know nobody else was there. Nobody stood in to help, but I hate it was a 14-year-old son. I don't know. It's sticky because she had to go text her 14-year-old son to come protect her, where there should have been another guy in there. But that tells of a bigger problem.
Because you know how people are. We argue for a minute before something happens for real.
Let me just say something. So the incident was happening, and the guy hit the woman, which is just absolutely disgusting, because he was punching her like she was a man in the boxing ring. So obviously he beats on women. You can clearly see that. So he's hitting the woman, and the son had the gun in his hoodie. Did he have the gun all the time, or he went back out to the car?
I think he
had the gun.
I think she's a registered gun owner, a legal registered gun owner. So it was her gun.
Okay. So this is what I'm trying to understand. So when the incident was going on, and the son probably saw them arguing, he must have went out to the car, got the gun, and came back. By then, he saw the guy punching on his mom. Did that happen? Or after the incident, he went back out?
He was in the car, and she had texted him. I'm not sure if it was after the punching. I think it was before the punching. I think she was arguing back and forth.
Right. She felt, okay, you know what? Bring my gun, because this guy's probably getting ready to attack me. And I guess once the son saw what was happening, the mother was being attacked, that's when he Shot the gun.
Yeah, I believe that's what happened. From what I've read, it was before she got punched, but she realized this was going to be a threat that could be turned
Also,
into
he could
something.
probably see
He
from
could
the
have.
car. Like, I don't
He
know
could have shot
what
the mom by accident. You know,
I don't know what place they were in, but yeah, some of these
shot him
spots,
in the back.
the glass is see through. You can see like if I look
What?
up, it's like I'm on my phone. I look up, is that my mom in there arguing with somebody?
It is sad that the son had to take that action.
Very sad.
I don't know, these guns, just a mess. It's sad, you know, but he shot him in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Not really supposed to shoot people in the back, but
People not supposed. Hey, look, as people not supposed to punch each other in
this
chicken spots.
this is a sad situation. That man would have continued to beat on that woman.
Yeah,
He probably not been killed.
could have done much worse.
Yeah, he could have killed. The way that first hit, I'm surprised she didn't get knocked out, because it looked he came from the ends of the earth when he swung. He swung.
He really threw all of his
You know,
anger
and
from the workday into that shit.
What do you think about her telling him to follow him outside after he shot her to continue shooting him?
Do we know she did that? Like, where's the evidence of that?
I don't know
They
if that
said
was
at one time
footage yet.
the son, she was trying to tell her. I don't know. This is what they're saying, that she was trying to tell the son to get the girlfriend, because they said the girlfriend was edging the guy on.
I heard that too.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Where are these details coming from? Like, what are the police talking about?
It's bits and pieces that people say. We don't know if it's facts, but I did hear that.
See, that's that misinformation shit. Like, I feel like news, like media and outlets, they'll add certain things that like they'll just spread misinformation so that the narrative becomes, oh no, don't feel bad because actually she made her son do. Oh no, don't think. Like it's so much going in so many different directions when at the basis of it, we saw this woman get attacked, and the only person that was there and able to do something was her son.
She felt her life was being threatened. Now
that is a literal threat.
That's the same thing with what the white woman has said. My life is being threatened, but the lady was just standing at the door.
Yeah.
Now you have an incident where a woman is actually being attacked.
Physically,
and this guy is pounding on her face. You know, you can kill somebody with the right blow. How do you know this guy wasn't a professional boxer? You don't know. She could have been really, really hurt. And guess what? She can have things could still go on with her, because he punched
that was the direct
in the
connect to the brain.
Right. So you're gonna protect. That's his mom. You know, mom told me to bring this gun in. She feeling threatened. Oh my God, this guy's beating on my mother.
I believe the only reason they might have got off is because, to what LT was saying, I don't know if there's video footage of them showing that they went and chased the guy after he was shot initially, and that may be the burden of proof they didn't have, because the law usually says if you incapacitate somebody, hurt somebody, if they're no longer a threat, and you're supposed to stop right there. But if they went and chased them, if he chased him,
you're the aggressor.
Yeah, then they can turn that around and say, "Oh, now it's murder."
Absolutely.
Now you were attacking him, but I think they didn't have evidence for that. That's why the charges were dropped.
Burden of truth. Truth.
But they had. But with this, they had video footage when he came in and shot the guy, hitting his mother. So. And
they're saying they can't even show the whole footage because it was that bad. They stop it. They let you see a piece of it, but he was beating that woman.
Facebook,
like he literally made a vocal threat.
Oh,
Get
Facebook
your food, or I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
Facebook had it.
Wow.
Like, and as any person, like we could, like so many people online would say, well, as a woman, if a man told you that, you should no.
But
I get it. That's for your safety. But as a person, like gender aside, as a person, if some motherfucker tell you, hey, get your shit or I'm gonna knock you the fuck out, you're just who the fuck you gonna knock out? Because you don't even know I got that thing on me and my son got that thing on me. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't even know that. And again, these are our U.S. given rights. She went through the due process to be a legal firearm owner. and she was in the exact situation that a person should use a firearm. If
But she
they
didn't
got
use
the up on you,
Yeah, she had a son use it.
He didn't use it.
Who shouldn't be using a firearm at
and
14.
you know what? That's a legal loophole and a technicality to get both of them on, and I feel like that's where they started.
Well, here's another story, Big Red. Did you see the one where they were in the store, the family-owned business,
Mhm.
and the gentleman tried to steal the cash register, and the
Mhm.
mother was trying to stop him from stealing, and the son took the gun and shot the guy in the head, and he was 14. So now, how does that work?
The store owners, is that what you're saying?
The son he had a gun.
Uh-huh. Ooh.
And the man was trying to take the register out the store, and the mother was grabbing on him, and he was pushing on the mother to stop her from having him take the cash register. And the son, who was about 14, 15, pulled out a gun, shot the man in the head, and killed him. Was he justified? Now that's a cash register. He didn't put he's pushing the mother so he could steal the register, but he didn't hit the mother. It wasn't like he was beating her. He was just trying to get the machine. And the son shot him in the head and killed him. Was he justified?
I would say no. You know how most of these stores do now. They just like, go ahead and let them steal. Don't touch nobody. We'll file it on our taxes or insurance, and we'll get the money back somehow. Right. What ended up happening to the boy?
I never followed up on it, but I know that he was arrested.
He probably
gonna get charged for that.
So
gave him a headshot.
Shot him right in the head.
Okay, let me ask you this then, because we talked about that Jordan Neely killing that happened in New York by Daniel Penny, the guy that choked him out. Now, people were saying he was threatening people, he was talking crazy and stuff like that, and then like nobody stepped in until this Marine guy stepped in. Switch around to this situation where that guy was threatening the lady Carlisha Hood in Chicago
and made good on it physically.
Maybe he could have had mental issues if people have stepped in, choked him out or anything, or called the police. What should have been done? What would you have preferred to have been done in that situation? Or would you have preferred the 14-year-old kid come in and do what he did?
Shit, if I witness a man beating a woman savagely, I would have to rush that man and try to beat him savagely in turn. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't carry that thing on me.
I mean, when he was threatening her, said, "I will if you don't get out of my face, I'm going to." Or if you don't shut up, he said, "I will punch you. I will knock you out." Before that,
and you notice this is a common thread in everything that's happening. Nobody's calling the police. How come nobody calls the police first? Like, and I get why we as black people don't. We need to drop that shit. Like, we really need to start invoking those 3 fucking numbers and calling. If we don't want to get involved because we don't know what happened, that's literally what the police are paid to do, to show up and ask, all right, what seems to be the problem here? Like, that's
at least people with the phone, right? Recording.
Instead, people are recording with their phones, trying to get the next viral moment for Lord Trenton to be up here talking about them, only sitting there recording on their phones and not helping a woman while she's getting them things put on.
Sometimes those recordings help.
They help.
Sometimes recordings help people.
Call first. Oh, there's enough. Well, okay, one person can call. One person can record.
Somebody should have called.
Yeah, I bet you there was at least 4 people.
Because you know what? If you're recording, I need to hear you in the background saying, "Hey, stop. Hey, I'm recording you. You better not punch that lady. You on camera." Like you, but people record silently. That's the only problem with it. These things don't help unless people are. These things are only helping in a aftermath kind of way. They're not preventing anything. People are silently recording so that they can post it later. They're not recording to deter people from committing the act that they're going to commit because they want it to happen. So that
that's a good point.
Share, which is sick.
That's a good point. People want it to happen so they can get a viral moment instead of doing something.
He gonna punch her in the face. Oh shit, he did it.
That's a very
nothing
good
afterwards.
Well, if it was me, I wouldn't have said nothing because I don't got my piece on me. But I would never walk into a store without my piece.
Okay, well, back where I was saying though. Okay, he threatened her. Just like the guy in New York was threatening people on the sub.
But
Are you saying we should just
that
call the
man was
police
not just. He
to
had
stop
no
those
reason to
incidents?
put him in a chokehold. He didn't have to do that. There was 3 men there holding that man down. He didn't have to put no chokehold. And that man was known on the subway to dance and do things. He make his money.
Yeah, but he also has assaulted people too in his past, and he's been to the mental institution.
Not a chokehold.
Yeah, and he's assaulted people in his past.
Not a chokehold. You don't have to put nobody in a chokehold.
Okay.
It was 3 men. 2 could have had his arm, 1 could have had his legs. Not a chokehold.
Okay. So
that Marine snapped and thought about something else. Maybe he thought he was in basic training.
But then you also see how the media depicted that Marine afterwards. They referred to him as a veteran. They referred to him as a hero. They referred to him as saving people that were being threatened by this mentally unstable man. Where in this situation, the person had made good on the physical threats that they were making. So there was good reason to also return with physical force. In the Jordan Neely situation, whereas people felt threatened, he wasn't, I don't know, correct me. He wasn't saying, I'll knock get off of this, stop, or I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. Like, no, he was yelling, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty.
When you choking,
he was threatening to hurt people.
Okay, but my thing is this.
But he didn't, he wasn't swinging at nobody, nothing like that yet. But we don't know. And what I'm saying is
not a chokehold.
Not a chokehold.
When someone is he knew what to do. He was a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that gurgling.
You don't sound like he did now.
When you have that person and you choking them, you hear that noise they making that they can't breathe.
All right.
You could tell. He was excessive. I don't know. He snapped. Maybe some memories came back. Maybe he just wanted to do it to prove that, hey, I can do it. He was wrong.
And again, he wasn't watching his mother get attacked by this man.
No reason to put that man in a chokehold like that. There was no reason, because you can hold a person down without choking them.
You could have just broke his arm.
If you watch that video, it looked like he was just possessed, grabbing that man's neck like he was getting hyped about it.
Like he was about to catch him alive.
So you guys think the way they should have restrained Jordan Neely, not the neck restraint, not the chokehold, the way they should have restrained him with 3-4 other people, they should have did the same thing with the guy in Chicago once he made those threats that I will knock you out, talking to the woman, Carlisha Hood.
If there were people there that were capable of doing that, yeah.
But some people don't get involved, because he would have turned around and probably said, I'll knock you out. Shut up, mind your business. We've seen people
that's just not the situation we were in. You know what I'm saying?
Shut up before I hit you. People scared today.
Yeah, because some people pull out guns.
But guess what?
Instead of knocking you out.
The woman that he apparently was with, you don't try to pull him off her. You don't stop. You don't. I've seen videos where females have grabbed their man. Stop it. Stop.
Some women don't care that they're dating violent men. Some women,
because her ass probably getting beat, and she probably said,
either she's getting beat,
somebody got to take some of it. Wear him off tonight so he don't beat on me. That could have been the case, because I'm always getting my butt beat. So let him do it to somebody else so he don't do it to me tonight.
And again, the same way they try to make us not feel bad that this Marine murdered this mentally unstable homeless man. This man on camera punched the shit out of a single mother. Don't we love single mothers? Like, don't we love moms? Don't we love kids?
Woman, period. Yeah.
Like, punched the shit, like, was very clearly a physical threat. If there is the Second Amendment right gives us the right to bear arms. I know it was not her using it, but if there was, again, this Marine was not put in a position to kill anyone on the subway. That's not what you go to the Marine Corps to learn to do, not kill homeless, mentally unstable men at the behest of some subway goers.
It wasn't
just like this little boy should not have to have been the one to defend his mother from a physical assault, which she was very clearly under. It's not like this Marine was watching Jordan Neely yell at his mom. He wasn't. He was watching Jordan Neely yell at random subway people that everyone had the same feeling.
That chokehold was unnecessary. If you look, you could see him going back and for what?
Yeah.
What you doing on this? He knew what he was doing. He was cutting off that airway. Everybody knows if you back in the days when the guys used to do it and knock you see the guys get knocked out. It was excessive. It was excessive. You
The
could have
thing
just
is,
held it, you
with
could have
young black
held
men,
him down.
because of the way our
Go to
culture
jail.
is
He needs
just
to
set
go to
up,
jail.
they could like a more plausible story, and I hate to say plausible, but a story that would help the DA or help the prosecution is a mother and son crime duo or some shit, because most of their prisons are filled with young black men. Most of their prisons are filled with black women. So why not take another two? It wouldn't be anything out the ordinary. But just like that Marine went back to his training, something that he was taught that you're not supposed to implement on civilians in civilian society, this young boy was not. He was not acting under any training. He was not acting under anything he had
That's
been
a use
taught
of
by the
force.
U.S. government. He was acting under the complete. Oh shit! Is that my mom getting punched the fuck? Yo, bang, bang, bang. Like that's literally what anyone would do if you walked into your home and saw your mom, your father, anyone that you consider a loved one getting physically attacked. If you have a weapon, and especially if you are a 14-year-old boy watching a grown ass man assault your mother, you're not thinking, well, let me approach him with just my hands. You know what I'm saying? No, I have a weapon. I have a weapon at my mother's behest. So by my mind, by my definition, I've been given the ultimate authority to use this weapon, because it's literally my mother is my guardian. Whatever, like when I get into trouble as a teenager, you go to my parents. When like something happens with me, you go to my parents. So my parent is my authority, and my parent asked me to protect them. Matter of fact, not even asked me. My parent asked me to bring the gun in so that they could protect themselves.
Right.
Upon entering the building, I saw my parent under direct attack. What do? Toss my parent the gun? Say, or excuse me, something the police never do anymore nowadays, yell out, freeze. Like, do I yell at this man to stop? Because it doesn't seem like anyone in the restaurant was telling this man to stop. Again, if I'm a 14-year-old boy and I walk in and I see my mother being savagely attacked, my first instinct is to protect my mother in any way, shape, or form that I can. If I'm a 14-year-old boy that's not physically able to subdue the man that is attacking her, but I have a weapon that can, that's literally what people come to this country for. That's what made us rich. We love that gun sound.
Different if he would have said, "Hey, stop, get off my mother." Would have been different.
But see, that's something that an officer of the law is trained to do.
Right.
That's something that someone who is trained to diffuse violent situations is supposed to do. Like, so someone should have called the police. Again, like that's the main thing, to stop this little boy from having to catch a body before he's even finished going through puberty. Someone should have called the police. Someone that worked there. So like this situation got way too elevated because you know what? People was bored. It was drama, and people wanted to see altercation. That literally be our problem. That's why so much ignorant shit be happening. We love seeing shit go down until it goes too far.
What would you say if instead of a 14-year-old boy, this was like, say, her boyfriend that she texted to come in with the gun and killed him?
They would probably still do the same thing, treat it in the same way.
What would you think is different? Because I think because of a 14-year-old boy, it's hard to tell a 14-year-old boy to make a grown-up decision with a firearm, and is the reason why you can't charge him with murder, and being that heightened situation if his mother getting attacked. But if you put an adult in this situation, I think it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit.
Mm-hmm. They didn't charge the boy because he was a minor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. If he was older, he going to jail.
You know, our minors are not minors to them.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true too. And this was in Chicago too, so you know how they probably view the minors.
This is Chirac, so they're expecting him to be GD, bulked up, some type shit.
His age. Ain't gonna charge him.
They expect this to be some O Block type shit.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, it's sad either way. I'm glad the mother was protected. She seems to be getting a lot of praise for how it was handled from a lot of people. I know Nicki Minaj is planning to fund the 14-year-old boy's, I think, college education.
Oh yeah, that was nice of her.
Why not fund the college education of the?
Yeah, that nice.
Fund him some therapy. That's what he gonna need first.
Oh, he definitely gonna need that. But he needs to get away.
Yeah.
Oh, they both need to go. They need to relocate, go, just get away from there.
All right.
That was tough. That was a tough story.
Yeah, I mean, college is cool, but yeah, give them money, get them out of this, like move them out of.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, that's a good point. Don't wait till he goes.
He's only 14, so it's like you gonna pay for his college in 4 years. We gonna forget about this shit, and this nigga gonna have to hunt her the fuck down. Her number gonna be unchanged.
Hopefully, he can make it out to get to college.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, again, what did she really say?
No.
Tricky situation either way. Yeah, hopefully the boy gets the help he needs, and her too. Like I said, don't be in another situation where you have to call your son to help you out. You know, and depending on where you live at, you're going to see that situation probably again, or maybe not, because now the boy is famous for killing that guy.
What if there's retaliation from, like, what if homeboy was the older dude? What if he was a part of some clique, some squad, some crew, and there's retaliation coming? Now they gotta be like, waist deep or some shit. They gotta be a mom son duo. Is there a mom son crime thriller movie?
Sure, there is somewhere.
It's terrible.
Sure, there is somewhere. But,
terrible situation.
All right, let's move to the next story. Let's see, LT, you know a little bit about this one. Jonathan Majors. You know, Jonathan Majors, who's a very big up-and-coming actor, has been in quite a few big blockbuster movies, 3 being the last one. Still got to finish watching that movie, by the way.
This shit hard.
I heard it is. I was going to start watching today. Maybe I'll get to watch it by the end of the night, but he's one of the biggest up-and-coming actors, and he had an incident few months ago where he got charged with assaulting a lady friend he was with in a car, white lady who was with in the car. She said he attacked her, assaulted her, beat her, and he got arrested. He said on the contrary, no, she was attacking me, and if anything, maybe she should be arrested for what she's done. I've been falsely accused. But ever since those charges came up with no video evidence or anything, everybody has been dropping this guy left and right. All the movies he had been slated to do for Marvel and other movies plans that were supposed to be coming out with him, they just dropped him like a bad habit. They didn't give him a chance to even prove himself innocent. So it's guilty till proven innocent for some people. And recently, I think yesterday, he's countersuing the person who claimed that he assaulted her ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari. Let's see, Jabari called police alleging she had been assaulted by Majors. And let's see, face court that same evening. Let me go further up. Representatives for Majors have long maintained his innocence, and his lawyer Priya Chaudhry told Newsweek the actor was probably the victim here, with police at 2 NYPD precincts finding probable cause to investigate Jabari, but they did not arrest her at the time. Let's see, move up. Within hours of viewing the evidence and conducting their own thorough investigation, the NYPD found probable cause to arrest Grace Jabari for assaulting Jonathan Majors. Considering this development, we extend our gratitude to the NYPD detectives for their efforts, Chaudhry said. Majors, let's see, who also appeared in court on May 8th and June 20th, and according to a Business Insider report, presented himself to the Chinatown precinct on June 21st to give a statement to police about what he claimed had occurred on the night of the alleged assault. The actor said a drunk and hysterical Jabari attacked him on a street corner in Chinatown on March 25th. He allegedly said Jabari, a dancer, snatched and slapped his face, causing pain. Both the Chinatown precinct and the Manhattan precinct that first attended the incident at the Chelsea apartment following Jabari's 911 call on March 25th found probable cause to investigate Jabari, Major's lawyer said. According to the report, Manhattan prosecutors were reluctant to prosecute Jabari, and an incident card calling for her to present to the Chinatown precinct for questioning was canceled. The district attorney office and police have not confirmed the account given by Major's lawyers. Jabari, who met Majors while working on the Marvel film Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, has yet to speak publicly about the incident. Majors is due to face court again on August 3rd based on Jabari's allegations. The alleged incident received huge reaction online and made headlines as people wondered what impact the allegations would have on the 33-year-old actor's career. Amazing, he's only 33. He looks older. Let's see. See what else I say. And that is about it there. Now she's being investigated for what she has played a role in this incident. And LT, I know you had sent this story in the group. So what do you think is going to go forward and happen with Jonathan Majors and this young lady that he was with, who he claims actually assaulted him first?
Oh, man. The fact that he's not hanging from a tree or his jail cell right now is fucking that's a W in itself. I definitely think that this man is doing something that nobody has ever done. As a black man, he is successfully defending himself against a white woman in court that is alleged that he has domestically abused her. This is marvelous. This is amazing. I love that he came with evidence. I love that he said nothing to the public first, because what the mistake that we always think is, or matter of fact, it's not even a mistake that we make. The court of public opinion is sometimes more volatile, sometimes more threatening to your career and to your image than actually going to court. And what I witnessed, what we all witnessed, was a lot of people in the court of public opinion register him guilty. A lot of people from never before seen, but now that Twitter lets anyone get a motherfucking blue check, all you gotta do is pay $8. People can feel like they're credited, legitimate, reliable source to give information on people that we can't confirm if they've ever met or even fucking know about. And a lot of people took this opportunity to come out the works, and it sounds so cliche to say, but a lot of people came out the woodworks to tear this black man down. And I saw somebody say something interesting. It's like if the Emmett Till shit happened again today, everyone, like, we would it would be able to happen seamlessly, and we would all literally probably talk shit about Emmett Till and his entire family, because we're so divided, we're so confused, there's so much misinformation, and we're so ready to watch people fall from grace. We should have been more, as a community, we should have been more solid in wanting this man to be innocent. But what I saw was people just saying, yep, everybody that found it, this picture right here. And this is why I said he was ugly. Look at, like, people were, because of personal biases, like, because people found him unattractive, because some people didn't like a role he played, because he said this in a particular interview. People let their emotions come out and dictate this man's innocence or guilt. So I love the fact that he didn't say anything to us. I love the fact that he was like, you know what, the only people I need to talk to is my lawyer and the prosecutors about what the fuck is going on. He moved, real G's move in silence like lasagna. And that's what the fuck he did. I feel like when this is all said and done, my hopes are for Grace Jabari, which cannot be her fucking last name. Not no more. After you done assaulted a black man.
Why not?
Because you know what, the tides need to turn. Like, I didn't follow the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case, but we don't take domestic violence from women to men as seriously. JT just threw a phone at little Uzi Vert, and people's response is, well, he used to beat his other girlfriends. So why do y'all get so mad about, like, about someone's body count? You had sex with people, they had sex with people, but only certain ones of us get mad that this person, like, we pick and choose what we like to make a person, or what we like to broadcast about a person, what we would like to expose about a person, and we forget that That's the exact reason they're entertainers. Their lives are there for us to be inter-fucking-tained. Except in situations like this, when the possibility of entertaining us is going to be taken away because somebody else's lie. And as the black community, we know all it takes is for a white woman, as we just saw from the first thing we talked about, to say, "This happened to me. I was afraid." Da 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 da. And we're already guilty in public opinion court, and black people have been so brainwashed, programmed, and conditioned over years that now we do that to ourselves before the judicial system even gets the chance to, except for with people that we shouldn't, because y'all knew R. Kelly was touching people, but y'all still want him free. Y'all think everyone else should go to jail and we should get like the Chocolate Factory Part 3. Like, ew, y'all, come on.
Amen.
Ew. Y'all know.
Breezy, what you think about this story? Jonathan Majors, now him pretty much counter-suing her. Not suing her, but bringing up charges against her that she abused him first. And it seems like everybody just abandoned this guy as soon as a rumor of him hitting her came about, with no evidence, no burden of proof whatsoever. Just people just automatically assumed he was guilty. Oh, you're on mute.
You muted, please.
Oh, thank you. I said it sounds like life. You know, people judge you and, you know, don't know the true facts, and, you know, everybody living in a glass house. It's terrible. I mean, you know, his career is damaged, and we don't really know the truth. Like you said, there's not no real truth behind what took place. It's his word, it's her word. You know that saying is your word and my word, and then there's the truth. It's bad. I mean, it don't matter who you deal with, whether they're black, white. If she's lying, she's terrible. If he's lying, he's terrible. I mean, his whole career is damaged. You know, for now. Maybe he might come back, right? It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility, but no
I mean,
matter what, when you're a
Smith,
black
Will
man
Smith,
and you get this label, it's hard to
wait a
shake it.
minute. Will Smith was banned for a little bit for what he did at first. Nobody wanted to deal with him when he dealt with Chris Rock. He let it die down. He come right back. That's the same thing gonna happen here. He's gonna die down, and they gonna bring him back. They gonna bring him back, and
But see,
you know,
they've never killed a black man over assaulting another black man. This
true.
is a black man being
And a
accused of
white woman.
assaulting a white woman.
A little bit different, yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know. That's rough to be accused of something and you didn't do it. No, we not there. We weren't there. You know what I'm saying? How do we know he didn't hit her?
right.
Shout out to his legal team, because they said they have video. They provided video footage of this
Still
woman
won't
breaking into his home
Oh
and
well.
hurting herself.
Well, then that's terrible. Then why are we even going
They have
further?
police body cam footage of this woman saying, "How did this happen to me?" And the police coaching her and trying to coast her into saying, "Did your boyfriend, the black one, do this to you?"
Why is it taking so long for them to release this? I mean, at least for public
And not
view,
even that.
because it didn't
Why?
take long for them at all to have people on her side when they're
That's
trying to.
why.
If
That's
that's the
exactly why.
case, why are they even? So why is Hollywood doing that to him? Why are they doing
Because
that
he
to
was
him?
he was about to conquer Hollywood. Like, the stars were literally aligning for this man. He's already done some great roles in Lovecraft
Well,
Country.
maybe somebody's hating on him.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's a lot of
why.
thinking out
That's
here.
why.
As
Yeah.
a black man, you can't shine too hard in even in the field that they allow us to have, which is sports and entertainment. You can't be too you can't be, and not even to say like he was a militant or revolutionary mind, but you can't be too comfortable in who you are. You can't be too affirm, and you can't represent something to young black men. Most definitely, that's why they killed off T'Challa. You can't represent uh positive masculinity. And that's what Jonathan Majors was coming back. Like, he had roles where he's crying, you know what I'm saying? Where emotionally gripping roles. He's not just playing the bad guy. He's not just playing the strong guy. And then when you start to watch his interviews, you listen to him talk. Yeah, it's the same mindset that Chadwick Boseman had. I want to be positive representation for young black men. And it's like, as soon as the media and Hollywood and conservative America hears that, oh, got to tear this one down. We're fine with the black men that want to talk about selling drugs, gang banging, shooting shit up, doing drugs, and disrespecting women. But you want to invest? You want to be emotionally intelligent? Nah, bro, we can't have
You want to
that.
date
Not
all
black
women?
men.
You want to put that one in there?
Somebody
That was the biggest one. You
What?
want to date all women?
somebody
Oh,
made a comment.
But that's the thing. They'll let us date their women, but they'll let us date the women that they don't want. They don't mind giving us the sloppy
still can't
seconds
hit
of
'em,
white
though.
women.
You still can't hit them.
Yeah, you still can't hit them, and
Yeah.
that's where I'll always say the white culture is better at protecting their women than we are. Because even though they disrespect their women and they treat their women like shit, like white men are very disrespectful towards the white women. They call them like, look at how a little white boy just starts talking to his mother at a young age. Fuck you, mom! Get out of my room! This is why dad left. You whore! This is how young white
Little
men speak
Timmy.
to I'm sorry, Matthew. Don't mean to put you on blast, but I had a young friend named Matthew used to talk to his mother like that.
What? He's still alive?
Yeah, it was my fault. I introduced him to Eminem when we were 8 years old,
Oh,
and he latched on really hard. So it's a little true what they say about hip hop. It can affect even their kids. I've seen it happen in real fucking time. But yeah, like, white men don't respect their women, but they will protect their women, especially from us. Like, if y'all ever and don't ever watch the 1915 seminal film A Birth of a Nation, that film is literally based upon
you talking
the
about the black and
creation.
white movie?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I
the
thought you were talking
creation
about
of the Ku Klux Klan. They all came together to protect a group of to protect some white women
that movie's
from, get
horrible.
this, some niggas.
That
Some
movie's
niggas was
horrible.
loose in they all white town, and they was afraid that these niggas was gonna rape and take they white women. And white
Yeah.
men will say, hell no, we can't have that. How many
No.
bed sheets you got? A lot.
Yeah, you remember that
Get
scene
your
in that
horses,
movie?
get the bed sheets, and we're riding in that.
There was a scene in that movie I remember where they had a white guy playing blackface,
Mhm.
and he was chasing this white woman, and
That's how it was.
they made him look like he was going to rape her or sexually assault her or
Nigga look
whatever.
like a mummy.
And she jumped off of a cliff. She said, "I'd rather jump off of a cliff, pretty much than be by you." And she jumped off a cliff. And they were looking for him because they pretty much said he murdered her, and that was the birth of the Ku Klux Klan in the movie, and pretty
Piece of
much
shit.
what
And
spawned
with that-
off the Ku Klux Klan in the United States, or at least brought them to prominence, if you want to call it that.
And that movie was beloved by America. President, whoever the fuck was president in 1915, played that at the White House for him
Yeah.
and his family. So the media, Hollywood, has been a part of the propaganda and the spreading of fear of the spreading of fear of the BBC. Pretty much.
Woodrow Wilson, that's who watched it. Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow, fuck him. How about cry 2 tears in a bucket?
Yeah. Well, in this case, with the truth is your truth, their truth, and who controls the truth when it comes to entertainment. And this is why is a lot of times it happens where someone can be guilty before proven innocent, because it's who controls the truth. The media. And they are the ones who put out these videotapes and the stories that Jonathan Majors attacked her first. No one in the media waited to see if there was any counter video to say otherwise, that maybe she attacked him first. And that's with any story. And then you can say that goes all the way back to Emmett Till, and even before that, it's what the media puts out. So it's not even your truth, their truth, and what the real truth is a lot of times it's
what are
what's
people
put out
willing
in
to
the
believe?
Yeah, it's what people are forced to believe because it's driven down our throat. This is what we should believe. Instead of waiting until the facts come out. And no one did this for this guy. And I feel sorry for him because it's like everyone abandoned him. You know, I don't know if this is a publicity stunt with him getting with Megan Good all of a sudden to kind of make him look like, oh, he has a woman, he's soft and endearing, and so he would never do this to this, this woman here. I don't know if that was a publicity stunt, some lawyer stunt to make him look good. But he's playing the media, I feel, to help you in his favor. Whatever tricks he's got to use to get him off if he is innocent, go ahead and do so. But this is what lawyers do. They play the media to get people on their side. And you can say whatever you want about the jury. They always go to the jury and they try to find someone who doesn't know anything about the case, but they watch the news. They lie. I mean,
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this man is about to be the new Thanos. Everybody know who Jonathan Majors is. Can't nobody you can't find nobody that doesn't or hasn't heard about this case. And yeah, you know what? It is fucked up. Nobody has said anything about it publicly. Literally, just either today or yesterday, did Anthony Mackie, a fellow member of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has come out and said something about it. And I didn't even click what the fuck he read or what the fuck. I didn't even click to read what the fuck he said because motherfucker, this has been going on for months. And again, we'll look at certain things like publicity stunts, like him dating Megan Good as a publicity stunt, but we have to look at the whole entertainment industry as a fucking publicity stunt. It's in the name. It's an industry literally built and generated to entertain you. And they've understood, the entertainment industry isn't stupid. They've understood that over the decades, we're not just entertained by the narratives that they craft and put on screen for us. We are entertained by the real narratives, the ones that we think are the actual lives of these actual people that we don't actually know. And so it's not just what's happening on set or on the screen, it's what's happening offset. It's what's offset. It's what's happening at their homes. It's what's happening after they leave the set. It's what's happening backstage. So those are the things that entertain us most because people aren't watching TV in its traditional sense. People aren't going to see movies in their traditional sense. People are streaming. People are clicking. People are watching 1 minute, 30-second, 15-second, 2-minute videos. People are scrolling through threads. That's the way we generate interest. That's the way we spread information. And that's the way the media maintains control. If I can give you something very digestible in about 30 seconds, you're going to be able to spit that information out and regurgitate it or reshare it, retweet it to you and your 50,000 followers. And now you believe what we believe. And only because your clicks generate us money somehow. We really gotta learn crypto. We gotta learn how this internet shit works because it is the new the internet is the new all-seeing eye. The internet is the new it's the literal web of information that a certain Native American group used to talk about. I want to say the Hopi Indians, Hopi Native American tribe. They used to talk about the coming of a web of information. Like back in the fucking 1800s, they were talking about a web of information that was going to tell many truths, but they were going to be sowed with many lies. And that's literally what we're living in. And we have to learn to decipher things, but we don't know how to decipher things because we don't know what to believe. We only know what we only go with what is the most entertaining. And as another old adage as we've been throwing them out, a lie is always more entertaining than the truth. Yeah, after the passing of Chadwick Boseman, he's definitely the star that look, the MCU is missing Robert Downey Jr. because Iron Man is dead. Spoiler alert, sorry. Captain America is dead or on the moon. Spoiler alert, sorry. I have not been keeping up with Secret Invasion. I don't give a fuck anymore since they killed T'Challa. I didn't like Wakanda Forever, and that was the main reason I was going to be there. That was the main fucking reason. I might come back for the Marvels because I like Monica Rambeau. But yeah, like Steve Rogers is going, Tony Stark is going, Thor don't even be on the fucking planet like as much anymore. The Hulk is pussy a little bit, like Professor Hulk is a little pussy.
A little bit.
He's very like it's funny that They say he's the Hulk because of gamma rays, because on She-Hulk, he was acting quite beta. Got him. Yeah, there were no other stars in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that were really shining out. Tom Holland doesn't want to be Spider-Man forever. You see he trying to jump into different franchises like Uncharted and shit. He don't want to be Spider-Man forever. And yeah, there's no other flagship characters that I can. Now they're just doing legacy characters. You know what I'm saying? Like they're kind of just waiting 10 years to go by so they can say Morgan Stark is Iron Man, Iron Maiden, or some shit. Like and isn't Iron Wars with Rhodey is coming up where we have Iron Heart, which I didn't even like her in Wakanda Forever. So yeah, like we were all really looking for Kang the Conqueror. We were looking for the next Thanos, the next big bad, the next opposing complex character. An opposing force, but a complex character and an actor that could bring them to life. And Jonathan Majors had all of those things in spades. He was going to be very influential and possibly too influential. And one way to take a black man out is always accuse him of violence, either accuse him of physical violence or sexual violence.
That's very true. Very true. I agree with you on that. All right. Preezy J, anything else to say on that before we move to the last story of the night?
No. It's just sad. If there's some lies behind this situation and, it's messing up this man's career. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Like I said, I don't even think the girl wanted to do it exactly. Like according to reports, she was upset that he had broken up with her. The night that the altercation was said to have happened, he exited the vehicle and she was grabbing at him and hitting him, trying to get him to stay in. So he did have physical bruises, defense marks, as they're called, on his person. And yeah, like she was literally just being a drunken white girl. She broke into his apartment. She banged on shit. She threw up all over the place. And then after that, she was spotted at a fucking nightclub, not even knowing what the fuck happened. Like so it seems like she wasn't coherent enough to craft this story herself. It seems like it was an orchestrated hit and a piece of the puzzle in a larger agenda being put into play again in a pattern that we've seen time and time and time and time again. I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay.
All right. Let's go into the last story for the night. Affirmative action. All right. Affirmative action has just been knocked down by the Supreme Court that colleges and universities can no longer take race into consideration as a specific basis in admissions. And some people, have a problem with this. Some people think affirmative action needs to be had so black students can be admitted to these high universities. And there's an argument that this affirmative action is actually hurting other minorities like Asian Americans, who have sued. And I think actually have won cases where they weren't being admitted and they had higher SAT scores to be admitted, but they were shunned away in order for certain universities to meet their quota for black people. So what do you guys think?
People of color.
People of color, but mostly black people though.
That's where they get it.
Yeah. So, and even white people have said they've been shunned from getting in certain universities because these universities had to meet their quota. So they couldn't get into universities or colleges. So do you guys think affirmative action is something that is still needed today? I think at one point it had its purpose. Not to say it doesn't have a purpose today at some of them, but I think when it was implemented, it had a bigger purpose for being around. Kind of much like I would say Black History Month. I would rather Black History be taught throughout the year, but at the time when Black History Month was actually Black History Week, and when it wasn't taught anywhere, we could take anything at this point. Black History Week, we'll take it. Then Black History Month, we'll take it. But now I think we have graduate to where we need to have it implemented throughout the year. And admissions through affirmative action, where someone is trying to meet a quota, do you think just taking the race off of the application and then actually putting people in based on merit, based on scores, is the way we should go with this? Or do you think affirmative action still needs to be in place? And I'll go to you, Preezy, I'll go to you first on this. Do you think affirmative action, as far as college is concerned, needs to still be in place? Preezy, are you there? Okay. LT, I'll go to you first then. You tell us what you think about that. Is it something that still needs to be in place, or do we need to graduate and find a different way to make sure minorities or Black people are put into colleges?
What's up, Danita? Let's see. Double-edged sword. Do we need it? Do we as Black people need it? I do not think we do. Especially if we put more emphasis on going to our damn colleges. You know what I'm saying? We got mad colleges all over the place. But what needs to happen is, or what we would be giving up, I guess, in a sense, quote unquote, giving up, is the veil or the benefit. And I don't want to call it a benefit, but we know there's a wall or a ceiling for you when you go to a HBCU. That's why so many Black kids are always trying to get into these PWIs, because for the kind of job you want, the kind of career you want, we're told that you have to go to this prestigious Ivy League school. So I don't think we need that anymore. If we're really just going to make it about test scores, I feel like Black people, because one, Black women are some of the most educated people on this planet. So I know that if we're literally just going off of test scores and how hard people work to get into college, if we're just going off of exams and testingship, then there should be plenty. It should be diverse. There should be a lot of Asian kids here. There should be a lot of Indian kids here. There should be a lot of African kids here. There should be a lot of Black kids here. That's not how college works, though. College also works. You pay for it. And affirmative action and that's where I was saying a little bit earlier, when is it for Black people or is it for people of color? Because that's where the divide and conquer comes in. That's what turns other races against each other. As an Asian person, an Indian person, or a Hispanic person, you should never want to abolish affirmative action just because this school is telling you, well, they've met their quota on people of color. You should be just as upset as Black people are. You should get an affirmative action for Asian people. You should get an affirmative action for Hispanic people, because we all need to continue to knock down the doors of these predominantly white institutes, especially if when we spend years going to our Howards, going to our Fayetteville States, going to our Berkeleys, going to, I don't know, insert Asian school in America here, insert Hispanic school in America here. We spend years going and investing in our institutions just for when we try to integrate into, obviously, their society, for them to say, oh, I see you went to Howard. That's nice. But we're looking for a more, kind of Stanford, more Yale kind of. It's just a polite way to classify us. And not even a polite way, excuse me. It's an expensive way to classify us, more so than anything. So I don't think we need to be let into these institutions so that they can meet a quota. We don't need to be a body to fill, because they could literally let in someone that just makes us look bad, to be honest. If you've ever seen How High, like they had high, what was it? Wasn't called SAT scores. It was called the THC scores. I see what you did there, Method Man and Redman, because they had the highest THC scores in the whole county. So Harvard was like, "Oh, let's get them into school." But it was a publicity stunt. It was literally just, look at the niggers we got, y'all. It's literally just to put us on display. So I think we should invest more into our institutes, our historically Black colleges. I think them getting rid of affirmative action is a warning sign. It's a sign of, bad things to come in terms of education, in terms of what else they'll be able to ban, outlaw, and get rid of in terms of colleges. Like that could extend to the curriculum. Like you were saying, how Black History Month was only a week and now it's a month. What if they decide shit? It's going back to a week. What if they decide shit? Honestly, what is Black history? We don't have any books with Black history anymore. And again, because they're getting rid of the need to have us at their institutes, and they can put the people at the institutes that they want there, they can change the rules and make, okay, well, we're only hiring people with degrees from these types of schools, which will be the predominantly white ones, and everyone else, good luck. Because honestly, as we go further into like education, it's a necessity, but their education is a necessity. You have to know what they told you to know, not what you know on your own. Again, your set of Black knowledge from your Black school is not going to get you that white paying job.
Okay. Preezy, what do you think? Do you think affirmative action is still needed, or we need to move on to something else to properly get Black students in these higher education universities? You're on mute. Got you on mute there.
Can you explain to me, go into more details of what's going on? Because I don't know about this story and I had went to the ladies' room. Sorry.
Okay. Well, affirmative action has been shot down by the Supreme Court, which pretty much affirmative action would let schools meet a quota to get certain number of Black students in there because before Black students were being recruited to universities, Harvard, Ivy League schools. So this was implemented to fairly put students on a fair plane with white students, Asian students, Mexican students, Hispanics, and Black students. This was a way to put an equal amount in these schools, because before they weren't recruited to go to these schools before, but now they want to shoot it down because they're saying it's unfair to other minorities who actually are making better grades or having higher SATs, and they want to go to the school based on merit, but not based on a quota that they're trying to reach for certain races. So the Supreme Court has gotten rid of affirmative action because based off of that, they want to do stuff based on merit and not trying to meet a quota.
So,
but you also just one more thing, I'm shooting there. But you also may have less Black students at these schools if you get rid of it. Okay.
Why? You don't think there's smart Black children?
I do. That's I do. And I mean, I'll present my argument with that in a little bit, but yeah, I do.
That's
Before though, those smart Black children weren't getting into school. That's why they put that into place, years ago.
So before the quota, you had to have a certain amount of Blacks, certain amount of whites, Asians, and all of that, Hispanics.
When they put affirmative action in, that's when you had to have a certain quota.
So now if they take it away,
it should be based on merit. It should be based on merit, based on scores.
Think about that scene in Forrest Gump when he crosses the protest line to give that Black student back her journal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like. That's what it would go back to. Whites. That's literally what it means. They could say whites only.
Oh no, I wouldn't want that. I think they should keep affirmative action in. Everything should, that would be unfair. But it's unfair now. So, I think they should keep affirmative action. If that's going to allow other races to get the opportunity to go to school, yes. Because if they change it, they may not get that opportunity. When it comes to education is not properly done for other races. If you're in a certain community, you're gonna get these books. You won't get these programs. You won't get that. If you're in another race, you get all these things because the money is going to that particular school. So those particular students are getting a more higher education than the others. So if you take away the affirmative action, those are the ones that will be going to those top schools, top colleges. So no, I don't think they should take it away. Did they take it away?
They did. Today it was passed to get rid of it.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
So they took it away. Wow.
When they won't.
It's been around, I think, since Lyndon B. Johnson. I think the 60s.
Well,
So
who
it's probably
came up
been like
with the
60
idea?
years.
What was the reason why they decided to take it down? Why?
Because they felt it was unfair to other minorities who actually had good grades to get into it. And let me break it down a little bit more because, and this is why I disagree with it. I think they should take it away because it actually was hurting Black people, and kind of for a couple of reasons that you mentioned, Preezy. And it's a bigger issue that needs to be handled. But for right now, the current situation for schools, what they were doing was they were bringing Black students not based on their scores. They were just trying to meet a quota to get Black students in there. So it didn't have to be Black students who were making supreme scores in their grades. They were bringing them to the schools, and they felt out of place because, to your point, the books that they had maybe at their schools, they didn't get that type of education that set them up for success at these universities. So a lot of them flunked out and didn't finish school because they didn't get people based off scores. They got them based off the race. And the complaint on the other side was Asian Americans, they've had a few lawsuits saying, we had great scores. How come we couldn't get into school? Was it because they couldn't get in because they just met a quota with Black students or maybe even Hispanics that was met based off of race, not off of merit. And the Asian students end up winning because it was like, we have better scores. The ones that did sue them. We have better scores. We should be able to go to the school. And so they thought that was being racist to not allow them to go to the school based off of merit, but it was based off of race. So that's why they're gutting the affirmative action law, because they feel that that is inherently racist to do that. And it was unfair to Black students, and maybe they should have fixed that part. They were only getting Black students, not to say they had terrible scores, but to go to these Ivy League schools. They weren't prepared to go to these schools because their grades just didn't reflect it. They weren't raised or put in a school growing up that would have helped them succeed. And so it ended up hurting them anyway. They didn't pass, and they would have been better off if they went to a school. I don't want to say lower education, but it is what it is. They would have went to a school that was better suited for them. They would have graduated, got a degree, got a job, and they wouldn't have been in debt on top of that. But that's what was happening for us. So it was a double-edged sword both ways. It was hurting us. It was getting us in schools, but was it helping us in the end? No. And it also was keeping other races out, just trying to meet a quota.
Why didn't they get there's smart Black African American students. If they was trying to make the quota, why didn't they get the students that had the high scores, but they were still African American?
Right.
And also,
they could have done that, but it still would have kept out. Let's just say they were going to put 15% Black people in there. But it still was only going to get a certain quota. Instead of 20 Black people, they could have maybe got 100 smart Black people, but they had to stop at a certain point based off of race. So in a way, that still could have hurt us. We could have got the smartest Black people, but we still had to stop at a certain point. Instead of just being based off of merit, we had to stop off of race. And so just let the best man win.
For Black people or people of color. And are people of color included, like are people that aren't Black people included in that people of color that they include in these quotas? Because that's what could be fucking it up. If it's like extended to people of color, but we only think of black people when we think of people of color. Because again, what these other races need to understand is you have the same problem and obstacle that black people have. Right? Like, we didn't invent affirmative action. Affirmative action was invented and given to black people from white people to placate us. Again, the fact that we're even dealing in a quota is racist. It's the fact that we only have to adhere to allowing a certain amount of black and or people of color, and I do mean the and or. If we can make them just different peoples of color, we'll take that. Like like Dean Cain was saying, what about Chuck Kumaloo? He's Eskimo, and I brought him in myself. I love how high. That's the
Hispanics are in affirmative action too. Just to point that out too, they're included in that.
They're included in people of color for affirmative action.
Yeah.
Okay, so how come this argument never extends to white kids? Because let's be honest, Asian kids have better scores than everyone. Not just black kids that are getting in off of affirmative action. You have better scores than the white kids who are only here because their parents own a couple of the buildings on the fucking campus.
Well, white people are suing too. Just it's not just white people have been suing too and say, hey, I got higher scores than them. How come I'm not getting in? Because you're trying to meet a quota.
White people sue.
You sure the scores are real?
Hey, right.
And again, those white people, you are being programmed and brainwashed. You're mad at a system like affirmative action that has literally been created because black people have historically been kept out of these institutions primarily just for being black. So you're upset at the fact that you can't end because you are not.
I'm so tired of all this racist stuff. I'm sick of it.
But isn't that a step taking a step forward though? If you were to take that
white
out,
that, black this, white that. Black
it's not a step forward if the education that we're privy to is not the same. If the education that we're privy to when we go back to our black institutes is not accredited the same when we go out into this mixed world. Because when we go back to our black institutes, the academia and scholars and the American economy, the American economy and American people at large deem the information that we learned Afrocentric. It's black based. It's not America based. Like it's again, we have these certain things. You're not going to trust a barber that learned at insert his cousin's barber school here. You want a barber that has been to a hair or beauty or whatever the fuck school that you recognize. You want a doctor that's been to a medical school that you recognize. You want a bodyguard that is trained in a form of martial arts that you at least recognize or know that can fuck you up in some way, shape, or form. So if we only, and I'm not going to say only depend on our black institutions, we won't be able to go as far, because we can go as far as we possibly can with those. We need to invest more in our black institutions so that they can be seen, so that at least to us, they can be held up on the same level as these Ivy League institutions. The only reason these Ivy League institutions are, this coveted is because they deny people. It's like, if you ever watched that movie Accepted, starring Justin Long and Jonah Hill and Columbus Short, very odd combination of people, but they're all in it together. These dudes from high school, they fuck off. They don't get accepted into college. Long story short, they ended up creating their own college and shit. And they kind of create a college that's better than the way college actually does it, because they teach you what you want to learn instead of, what you are told to learn, because that's all college is. Like, that's what these Ivy League schools are about. You're going to Harvard Law because we will accept your, lawmaking from this school, because George Washington went the fuck here, or Benjamin Franklin went the fuck here, because we know people that fraternities, sororities, like it's pimping since pimping. A lot of How High references tonight.
I see. Well, you speak on a bigger problem, both of you guys, that the education system before you get to college needs to be fixed. in order for more of us to be successful at the higher education place, the Ivy League schools. In the meantime, though, and I think that's a reasonable ask to actually fix. Kind of like politics, you need to vote before you get to the presidential part. You need to go fix the lower level parts before you get to the big part. So it's a reasonable ask. So, but with I do think, again, with getting rid of it, because like I said, it has hurt, I think, a lot of Black people with affirmative action, because like I said, we haven't been prepared because of what you said. The lower education parts have not prepared us for the Ivy League schools. And so we're going there being set up to fail in another way. If we're not getting the best of our best to go into school, we're getting just Black people, just to meet the quota, just anybody, just to say,
we're losing an element of ourselves when we go there too.
Yeah,
You know,
it's almost like a Juneteenth holiday. It's almost like a pat on the back. We're giving you a holiday. We're letting you guys into these schools. Hey, be happy with it. Stop complaining. Go to school. Look, be happy. But we're not doing what's best for our Black students in the end. So I think that part before that needs to be fixed. But we're also keeping, and Hispanic people too, we're also keeping their best out just to meet a quota. I think we need to put the best students that are available to go to the school, and also need to fix the lower level schools. They need to be taught and be able to be prepared to go to these Ivy League or higher education type schools. And that will even itself out. The only thing I'm worried about, to your point, is there another way that they can look at and tell, and I know there is a way with names, is there another way to look at and tell that these students are Black that are trying to get in these schools, and then they will also try to keep them out because of that?
Oh yeah, they make you clarify your race on a fucking you're signing up for rewards.
They're going to take that off though. They're going to take race off though with the admissions.
So they're like, you literally don't have to. Are they just going to stop looking at it, or you don't?
No, they're going to take it off completely. Okay. That's why I think that's another good step going forward. But names.
Well, you know
where
what?
You're from,
with a
where
lot
your
of
school
things,
is at.
time will tell. And
Right.
that's what's absolute about it, but that's what's also very scary about it, because we have to wait and see. And what I'm imploring of all Black people, don't wait and see. Go ahead and go. I'm going back to school my goddamn self. Okay, I'm about to be the rawest Egyptologist out here on the fucking streets. You heard it here. I'm going back to school, and I'm going to be an Egyptologist. I'm taking Kemet back for the Black people. I'm doing it for us.
All right. You'll be writing your name in hieroglyphics up here. We ain't gonna see Lord Trent in English letters no more after a while.
I bet you I'm gonna go to an old ass pyramid in Sudan, because there's more pyramids in Sudan. There's about 200. There's more pyramids in Sudan than there are in Egypt by far, because that's where the ancient kingdom of Kush, aka Nubia, was located, and that's where some of our greatest pharaohs actually come from. So my name is probably already etched in motherfucking granite on a goddamn right next to Ra and Thoth and Hathor. It's up there. God damn it. I'm taking a pilgrimage to Mecca, just like Malcolm, but my Mecca is in the sands of Sudan, Kenya, like Lion King.
All right. Well, speaking still on affirmative action and putting this in a different place, let's say jobs. Person getting hired based on their merit and what they have on their application. Would you take away affirmative action from jobs, putting race on the application? Because what's the point of putting the race on the application?
I would.
What's the point of putting race on anything unless you're doing something for statistics?
Again, race is only a classification, because we're all a part of the same race. As corny as it sounds, we're part of the human race. Like, because the things we refer to as our differences are
They can pick and choose wisely. That's why
because
they do
what other way would they be looking into our one, they would have to do a background check, so that means you would have to eliminate the race. You would have to eliminate race and classification from everything, because you still have to do a background check. You still have to put in your social security number. You still have to give your information. They still have to look you up and figure things out about you based on something to make sure you're a safe person to hire, to make sure you're a stable person to hire. I mean, it's literally only short that they don't ask you for a fucking picture, which some jobs are starting to. If you do Uber Eats or Uber at all, you need a fucking picture. People need to see what the fuck you look like because I need to know who picking me up. Goddamn, I need to. I was last seen with this person right here. So it's a way to classify. It's a way to identify. Obviously, I feel like it's always going to stay there. But the thing we would call race is our ethnicity, and there's
African American.
we know there's a sinister slash ancestral reason behind particular classifications and ours in particular. So it really doesn't do anything for us. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you're something other than black, it's not as hard for you. Like again, the POC thing extends to everyone, but people only get offended because they only think of coloreds as black people.
Not to be confused with collards.
But when it gets to that opposite end of white, nobody has any stones to really fucking throw. If we all threw our stones at the same time, if the black community, Asian community, Hispanic community, fucking Italian community, like Jewish community, ADL, looking at y'all, Adam Sandler, if everyone that declares themselves a different ethnicity, that declares themselves a different group of people than the average white Christian American came together and said, hey, this is unfair and these things need to change, things would have to change. But people pick and choose what they want to, the battles they want to fight.
True that. I think it would be a good thing for jobs to get rid of that. But where it wouldn't work, as we've seen so far, is entertainment. Doesn't work with the NFL. They have affirmative action in the NFL. They meet sort of. They have what I'm talking about with the coaches. They only do that with interviews. You have to interview a certain amount of black people per season, not necessarily have to hire them. And that hasn't worked out well because there's not a good amount of black coaches in the NFL at all. I'm trying to think of the names that are there.
College, real quick, they'll say, he coached at a black institute, or he coached at an institute that we don't consider football. Like he didn't coach at Texas A&M. He didn't coach at a Florida school. These more PWI institutes that they lean towards. That's why we were talking about it on here one time. That's why damn, what's my boy name? Deion Sanders left Mississippi State to go to the PWI. Because if you're trying to coach NFL level, all the coaches in the NFL coached out of these particular schools. All the owners, all the people who make decisions came from these particular places. So you need to form your alliances, form your lineage at these particular places so that you can get to that particular
That's
place.
another reason why we don't go to HBCUs like that, because we know where going to these Ivy League schools is going to get us as far as career wise. They're going to look at what your lineage as far as school, and they're going to hire you quicker than if you were in a HBCU. Unfortunately, that's the culture we live in right now.
If we own some shit, and that's because honestly, it's because we don't own anything. If we own the National Football League, there would be so many damn coaches from Columbia State. Like there would be so many coaches from NYU. There'd be so many fucking coaches from insert black university here. Goddamn, there'd be coaches from Truth University. Shout out and Stomp the Yard. I'm gonna start naming fake black colleges. What's the college that A Different World went to?
Hillman.
Hillman.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to be Spellman?
I think maybe a play on that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like there would be mad coaches from. Does Morehouse even have a football team? I don't know, but there'd be coaches from black institutes. We'd have more black coaches. We'd have more black owners, but we don't own. So we can't dictate what happens. We literally have to try to. And the blackest thing You got to try to change the system from the inside. It don't. You become a part of the system like that. That literally, like, we know that. But we always say that. We tell each other that Deion Sanders gonna bleach his skin one day and win the Super Bowl.
Hope not.
I hope not too.
Yeah, but I mean, you see how quickly he left that HBCU once he got what he wanted to get. It was no
Win a
longer
Super
about the students. You're gonna like Sammy Sosa out here.
That really happened. Sammy Sosa, Kimberly Jones. God damn, y'all really.
Lil' Kim, yeah. But she still wants bad Sammy Sosa. Damn,
that man.
He pink.
They didn't even call you black, but you was one of them dark ass Dominicans. Dominicans called you black, definitely. That's why he did it.
Shit. All right, so we're gonna end it on that note and go into the deepest thought and see what our deepest thought is for this week. Here we go.
It's Jake. Jasmine home? Hey. Jasmine?
Oh, you a little cutie looking like a little miniature Gerald Levert, huh?
Who the hell said that?
I said it. She deaf, and I'm an interpreter, man. So she can read your lips, man, but when she want to say something, I say it, man. All right?
That's cool, I guess.
Yeah. Bring your cute ass on in there, man.
As hell. You shouldn't have no problem finding no man.
Look, man, I'm not really looking for no man right now, man.
Okay, what are you looking for?
Honestly, I'm looking for somebody to run up in my guts, man.
Look. Can you write what you have to tell me down? This shit is kind of weird.
Look, man, I'm trying to get my back blowed out, man. Can you handle that? Can you?
I guess so.
That's a clever concept for it.
Damn.
I love a skit with a concept that I've never thought of before.
All right. That was the deepest thought, and this is the end of the show. Hostile therapy. And we've gotten some more hostile therapy because we want it, not just because we need it. Appreciate y'all guys coming on. Preezy, Lord Trent, and the rest of the guys who've watched this show, the audience. Appreciate you coming on another Thursday, and we'll be back next Thursday at 7 p.m. for some new topics. We hope everybody has a good night and a good weekend. 4th of July coming up too next week.
Oh yeah.
I already celebrated my freedom, but whatever.
Albeit late. That's what the holiday is about. Late freedom, or being told that we were free late. But it's a story for another day. But appreciate you guys for coming on. We'll see you next week. Have a good night. Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Yes.